Hey, what's happening, you guys? Welcome back to Instagram Live. My name is J.M. Ryerson on Let's Go Win Leadership Live today. I, I have to start with this before I even get into any of the questions. I watched LeBron last night break Kareem's scoring record. And again, for those of you that live on the West Coast, you don't understand that the fact that it's 10 o'clock on the East Coast before they even start the game. But I had to see this. I had to witness what I would consider one of the records I never expected to ever be broken. And it was amazing. And I'm not saying that LeBron is the best of all time. What I would say, I have several opinions on this, and again, I know that's not why I came on here, but I got to talk about it because the sustainability of excellence this man has had, the amount of pressure that was put on him, even though he had all the talent, he was nicknamed the King. As I see, we have the real King Leon joined, but LeBron is literally, his nickname was the King, King James, coming out at 17 years old. He's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. So he is the prodigy of basketball. And yet he has fulfilled that and then some. He's won 4 titles on 3 different teams. He has been expected to do this and then some, and yet he fulfilled all of that. And there's so often that you see prodigies and they don't fulfill their destiny, that they're not able to achieve these really unrealistic expectations. To expect anyone to do what they've done is remarkable. But LeBron has done that. I mean, you got to give him credit because, what's up, brother? Because he 100% was he was expected to do it, and now he has broken a record that was never thought to be breakable. So, is he the greatest? Here's what I will say. I think he is the greatest athlete I have ever seen. What I mean by that, if I were God or I was to create a athlete, I think I would model LeBron James. The man is 6'8", 250, shredded, fast, muscular, strong. I mean, there's no weakness that I can find as an athlete. What I would also say, and this is what I have, every time this conversation has come up, and it comes up with my kids, because my kids have grown up in the LeBron era versus the Jordan era that I grew up in, we talk about this openly. And one of my sons still thinks it's MJ is the greatest of all time. One of my kids thinks that LeBron is the greatest of all time. And I can't say who's right or wrong. I can only give my what I think. And as a mindset coach, here's what I would say. LeBron, again, the most physically gifted athlete I've ever seen. If you could imagine this, imagine if you could take Michael's mindset, Kobe's mindset, and put it into LeBron. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying he doesn't hit clutch shots, because he does. Anybody that says LeBron doesn't hit clutch shots, you're actually not paying very close attention, because he's hit so many game winners. And his percentage of hitting game winners is remarkable. The biggest difference I would say that I have witnessed is Kobe, Michael, they would literally do whatever it took. They would cut you if they needed to win that game. Where LeBron is a little bit more normal, quote unquote, where he is that gifted. He wants to win, but it's not to that level. So if I were to build that absolute perfect athlete, what I would do is I'd take LeBron's body and I would take Jordan's mindset, and that would be the 100% GOAT, which we'll probably never ever see. And they're both amazing for what they did in their careers. They have shaped and changed the NBA. But I just had to start there because I stayed up late to watch LeBron do it. And was there a doubt that he was going to do it last night? He scored 36 and 3/4, and it was efficient, you guys. I mean, he scored, I think he hit 13 out of 20 buckets for 38 points. He threw in 7 boards and 5 assists. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And again, pressure was on him to do it last night, and yet he seized the moment. So congrats, LeBron. Freaking amazing. I enjoyed every minute. So I'll get to the questions that you guys have sent. Why should you reward your team after accomplishing your goals successfully? Now, again, we were just talking about a team sport. We were talking about individual accolades, but such a good question. The biggest reason I think celebrating and your goals and really recognizing when you've hit something is to create momentum. There is actually a study, since we're talking about the NBA, there was a study that was done, I can't remember the exact year, 2012, 2013, and they were able to predict of the teams to the NBA, over 80% of the teams that would make the playoffs based on the amount of high fives and touches. So it wasn't just high fives, there was ass slaps and there was hugs, but by judging the amount of high fives, they could say this team was going to make it over that team. And that tells you a lot, like just that act of energy that's created by giving that high five. I'm not saying to go around slapping people's asses in the office. Please don't do that. That's an HR nightmare. But what I am saying is recognizing the wins, giving high fives, saying great job. It creates that momentum. It makes you want to continue to do that. And it creates what I would call synergy. So when I think of, we'll stay NBA for a little bit here. When the Detroit Pistons beat the Kobe and Shaq Lakers, tell me the superstar on that team. Well, you can't. Chauncey Billups might be the closest, or you had Rip Hamilton, you had Rasheed Wallace. I mean, you had some good players, don't get me wrong. Or Ben Wallace, excuse me, I said Rasheed, my apologies. But you had two of the greatest playing together, and that Pistons team had true synergy. That's why you want to reward your team. You want to create that energy, that synergy, that I'll do anything for you. Because when you're saying, hey, Jam, great job, and I'm like, yeah, Tom, you're doing a great job too. Now we have created energy between us. Now we have a bond, and Tom and I are in it together. So... the real King Leon. Only slap that booty if you say good game. Fair. King Leon, that is so true, brother. I love that. But, you know, it is creating that synergy. And here's the last point. It's fun. They have done so many studies, and I say they. Harvard's done studies. I know Google's done studies based on how productive you are when you're having more fun. And they've found that you're remarkably more effective. You're more productive when you're having a good time. That's why the Googles of the world and Silicon Valley, that's why they have it set up that way, where they have ping pong tables and they have, you know, relaxing pods and they have meditation rooms, all these fun things so that you can perform at your very best. So it's a great question. That's why you should reward your team. So I'll break it back down really quick. Create momentum by celebrating the small wins, the synergy, and because it's fun. Who doesn't like to have a good time? All right, second question. What does positive leadership mean to you? That's such a good question. And I do hang my hat on this one. So I break it down to 3 E's. And the first E is to be empathetic. I think positive leaders, they come from a place of seeking to understand, not from a place of judgment, and trying to put them in that other person's shoes, trying to say, let me see how it feels to be in your shoes, to walk a day in your shoes. So that empathy piece is one of the most important parts of positive leadership. Now, I will readily admit, as a male, and I'm going to generalize, often we are solution based. And so the empathy side of things is something that I continue to work on. It's something that, you know, I wouldn't say it necessarily came naturally to me, but it's something that I realize as a leader, empathy is so important, especially as I want to bring that positive leadership. The second E would be empowering. So often, and I've talked about this before on this Instagram, but as a true leader, your job is to empower your people. It's not to micromanage. I was actually on a phone call earlier today and somebody asked, well, how are we going to, I said, look, here's the expectations. Here's why we're doing it. Here's what we're going to get if we hit that. Go for it. It's your role. Let's check in every week and let's see how you're doing. I want to empower them to take that role because here's the deal. They are the expert at what I'm hiring them for. They are the expert for me reaching out and saying, I want you on my team because as a team of one, I'm not that strong, but as a team of 6 empowered individuals, I'm so much stronger. Avocado Beard Co. I think that's Jared, man. What's up, brother? So good to see you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love what you're doing too, man. I hope everything's going well. So let me see here. Let me get back on track. So empathetic being the first E, empowering being the second E, and lastly, energy. We're energetic beings. And when you think of positive leadership, so again, we'll go back to the LeBron conversation. I would consider him a positive leader. I'm not saying he doesn't come down on his teammates. I'm not saying that he doesn't scowl at them and really get on them. That's not the point. But he comes in with an energy that's high level. He comes in and you notice that he's got a different high five for every single teammate that he's ever had. That's truly caring about that other person. That's saying, I care enough about you that I'm going to spend the time to do this special high five because I care about you. Does the greatest or one of the greatest players of all time need to do a different handshake with every single teammate? No, but he's chosen that. And I separated him from so many other leaders out there because you don't see that from most people, especially people that have hit that absolute pinnacle level. So again, it's a great question. And the last thing I'll say with positive leadership, you have a solution to every challenge that's brought to you and with your team. So one of the things that positive leaders do is they don't allow those meetings to go down that negative, that hole. I'm not saying that you don't talk about the challenges, but one of the things that I like to do is start every meeting with wins. And so you start with, hey, let's talk about something good that's happening today. And so the meeting starts off on a good note. Then you go to the E, and that's the expectations. What are we doing today? Then you get to the I, which is issues. And again, this is Michael Hyatt. I'm just telling you the cadence of the meetings I use. The I is the issues. But when you bring an issue, bring a potential solution. And often it's personality conflicts that are talked about as issues. And that can be solved. And that's, as a positive leader, that's really your job to say, all right, cool. Let's get in a room. Let's figure this out. So the positive leadership, the 3 E's were empathetic, empowering, and energetic. All right, last question. And by the way, you guys that are on, please, any questions you have, man, this is all about leadership, real live time. I'd love to answer any questions that you guys may have or any thoughts that you have. I love hearing from you. What are some of the qualities that you look for in team members that you supervise? So per the usual, I try to break it down into 3s so it's not overwhelming for the people that I'm working with. We are clear of the expectations. And the 3 that I go with are to be present. So to live in this present moment, not in the past, not looking too far in the future, but rather right here. Because here's the deal. When you are working with people, you can't change whatever's happened. So let's say you take over as a new leader. You cannot change what the previous leader had done. You cannot change what the market has done. You cannot change anything that has happened in the past unless you have a time machine, which I don't. And so your job is to really say, all right, let's stay here. Let's sit here now. Let's deal with whatever challenge we have in the present moment. Now, we're going to have goals and we're going to shoot for that, but we're not going to focus too far down the line because that's just going to create anxiety. The best thing that we can do is be present in this moment, give it 100% of our attention, and be in it right now. Because you'll see folks that often have their cell phones and they're not really present. They're there, physically they're there, but they're not all there. And so one of the things that you can ask of one another, and we'll get to it when I get to the last quality that I look for with these teammates, but you want to give 100%. Just like right now, I'm giving you everything I have. I'm hoping it's coming across great, but it's the best I have because I'm not worried about what I said before. I'm not worried about what I have coming up. I'm not worried about what's going on over there. I'm worried about giving you the most that I can give you in this present moment because it's the only thing that I'm guaranteed is this present moment. The second thing is to be accountable. And this is a simple idea. Do what you say you're going to do. My dad, my mom, they drilled this into my brain that, look, you're going to make mistakes. And when you do, the best thing you can say is, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. And then the key is to make sure that it doesn't happen again. But you own up to it and you commit to whatever you're going to do. So if I commit to you guys, just like, hey, I'm going to be on this Instagram Live at 3 o'clock every Wednesday, is that going to happen every time? Maybe not. Maybe I'm late. I was late a couple weeks ago where I wasn't able to get on it till like 3:45. I apologize. I'm not going to let it happen again. And I'm going to show up and I'm going to give you everything I have. So it's simple things that you can do as a team to whatever you commit to is I'm going to do this. I'm going to see it through. Now, the other key is to under promise and over deliver. Don't over deliver and under promise. So often you'll see people say, oh, I'm going to call you every single day. And then they call you every third day. Well, as a consumer or somebody that's working with you, if you're telling me you're going to call me every day, my expectation is, oh, cool, I'm going to hear from Sue every single day. But Sue doesn't call me for 3 days. Now I'm starting to wonder what's going on. Is Sue okay? Is the deal that we have going on okay? Have I done something to piss Sue off? None of those things have happened. That's just what's happened because of the expectations that have been set. So if Sue says, you know what, I'm going to call you every 3 days, and then she calls me every single day, now I'm like, wow, she's going above and beyond. In fact, I might be to the point where it's like, hey, Sue, you don't need to call me every day. Oh, no, thank you, no problem. But you definitely want to under promise, over deliver, not over promise and under deliver. And the last thing is respect. When you're the qualities that I'm looking for. And this is a simple idea that my time is no more valuable than anyone else's time. And I want to treat it that way, that I'm going to respect your time. And you're going to hopefully respect mine back. And what I always say when I meet with interviews, whether it's the president to the janitor and everyone in between, everyone is treated the same. And this is just a lesson in being kind and treating other human beings the way they should be, which is as another person, another human being on earth. And so often, and this I think started back in I don't know when it started, honestly, but that hierarchy of, you're going to treat people that are at a higher level differently. I don't understand that. Like, congratulations on whatever you've achieved. I respect that. I can look up to you, but that doesn't mean I'm going to treat you any differently than someone that's just starting off. And what happens when you do that is you learn so much from people that maybe are just starting out. When you say, I respect you as a human being and I can learn from you, that opens up doors. That opens up people to being more receptive, giving ideas about whatever solution, whatever challenge, whatever project you're working on. And the best example I can give is my sons. I learn from my 13 and 16-year-old every single day, and hopefully they learn from me too. But, I've learned from my oldest son. I've learned his work ethic is legendary. And I can say that as a 16-year-old, I marvel at his ability to put in work and continue to work. And he does it enthusiastically, regardless of what happened the day before. And it makes me want to be a better person. It makes me want to be a better dad. It makes me want to be a better employer. It makes me want to be a better husband. And I can give that credit to my 16-year-old. Now, I've taught him a few lessons along the way, and someday he can tell you whatever those are. I've learned so much from him. And then the other thing with my other son is my youngest, man, he loves unapologetically. And what I mean by that is he is not afraid to express fully how he feels. And it's really cool to see that he has held on to who he is, because he's in middle school, and often that's where you see people start to change a little bit, put on the mask. And my son doesn't do that, man. If he's 13 and he's with his buddies and I'm like, I love you, Trey. I love you, Dad. And he's not afraid to do it. When he gives me a hug, it's not this weird side hug. He gives it all the way through. And I love learning that from my son, because again, I've lost some of that along the way and found it again. But he showed me that you don't have to lose it. So anyway, for the qualities that I look for in team members, is to be present, to be accountable, and to be respectful. So I took a little tangent there, but those are the three attributes. You guys, I hope you enjoyed it today. I had a good time talking about LeBron, talking about is he the GOAT, is he not, and getting into some of these questions, because as you know, leadership is something that I'm passionate about. I love talking about, and I want to share any potential lessons that I've learned and hear from you guys too. Remember, Let's Go Win is here to help you be happy, healthy, and wealthy, and we'll continue to pursue that endeavor. So until next week, you guys, and check out the Let's Go Win podcast. You get a chance to hear from so many great guests, more interactive than this format, where I get to ask questions of them and they shoot back to me, and we just have a good time. So if you check that out, and the biggest thing and way that you can support that is to share Let's Go Win podcast, to make sure to let other people know about it. Obviously, reviews help, and that allows us to keep bringing you quality content. So, all right, you guys, have an amazing week.